What's up, guys? I'm going to do a simple blues lesson again. I'm going to play along and do a little bit of describing. Now, like I always say, my students that come in already improvising, already know the pentatonic, tend to just give me. And one thing that is very difficult for me to get them to do is not just varying up dynamics like we were talking about loud, we were talking about soft, we're talking about holding the notes out, cutting them short, repeating phrases, the whole deal is getting them to be able to hear where the rhythm is and be playing on either side of that. So that's what I want to start today, and I will also give you an exercise at the end that will help you. So let's just get this started. I'm going to play, and same thing as before, guys. My A pentatonic, I'm in A, but I'm going to slide up 10, 8, and then 10 on the second string. I might end up hitting an 8 on the second string, but I'm going to try to stick to just those three notes. All right, so here we go. Do one round. Look at the first part for the note choice, because I'm still going to use that phrasing and that space in there. All right, so that's pretty on it. Now let's start experimenting and getting into the sound of behind or head of the beat. If I come in now behind, right? It has like almost like a laziness, or like it's got a different swag to it. If you listen. Right? It's got, it's hard to describe. It's got an R&B type feel, and then like a lack of urgency. Now let's add ahead of the beat a little bit. This is tough to stay in, but right? So that ahead of the beat, you want to stay when you're ahead of it to keep coming back to the one. So that's got a lot more urgency. It's got a lot more in your face, and that is a sound that you're going to want to practice, because if you don't, playing slightly ahead of the beat is just kind of like, as far as guitar playing, improvising, any instrument really, it's the sign of like immaturity in improvisation. So if you are going to attack that as a dynamic, it's something that you're going to want to practice so that it doesn't sound that way. Now when you take that behind the beat and ahead of the beat, so you have all of this like lack of urgency and over urgency, and then you can meet in the middle, and you couple says that's that one, like we were talking about, linear dynamic, right? It's you're behind, you're ahead, or you're just right on the beat. You have all of that to play with. That gives you so much ground to cover. Now if you add something as simple as playing loud and playing soft, right, you're going to have all of these. Now you're adding a whole new dimension to it. And not to mention something I didn't talk about in part one, I just didn't even think about it as it was coming up, but whether you're cutting your notes short or you're dragging them all into the next note, which happens a lot, like I said, that, right, that's kind of the syndrome. It's the same rhythm over and over, no varied rhythm, no varied dynamic, not ahead of the beat, not behind the beat, and each note goes right into the next. Now you're really adding a whole new dynamic. So I'm not adding more notes to this, I'm adding more dynamic, and then we can take that and move it to other parts of the guitar. So I'm just going to do one round. Loud and ahead. Bringing that volume down and behind. that those two kind of add to each other. So now behind, and then the urgency there. And every note right into the next one. So just in that 12 bar, I was able to touch on all of those elements, right? So now, just in there, was able to hit every single one of the elements. Now let's do adding a little bit more shorter notes and longer notes. So you can hear how just those simple changes can make those three notes sound so much better. So I'm going to keep doing these videos because it seems to be working out really well. You guys can focus on all of these different dynamics and come up with your own. This is also an introduction in case anybody does want to do Skype lessons. I do make them incredibly affordable. Reason being, if I were to sit here and watch you play a couple rounds of the 12 bar, when it's this kind of lesson, which this is the focus of the lesson, it's really easy for me to see like what it is you're relying mostly on, what's your safe zone. You know, we all kind of have safe zones. When we start losing where we're headed, there's always a safe place that we go. And that ends up being kind of like the foundation of our improvisational solos anyway. So we're just really beating the dead horse and trying to exercise you away from that. And get you into some newer elements. So it's what you're relying on too much, what you're not touching on at all, and doing it so you can literally improvise forever and it doesn't get old. Now, if you guys want, I'm going to show you just a couple of these exercises. All right, so a simple way to be able to navigate through playing behind the beat or right on the beat would be something as simple as getting a metronome, just setting it, right, playing. Purposefully dragging it behind like I am, seeing, get back on it, and then a little ahead. And then back, a little behind. So all right, try it. Obviously, when I do that exercise, I do it for like minutes and minutes. It's hard to cram that into just a quick 30-second example. I do that, and then I had that set on 65. And then the lower the number, the harder it's going to get, and that's where it's really, really, really going to make your timing that much better. So it's a great timing exercise as well. But just so you guys are able to control at any second these dynamics, that is probably the hardest one. Let me know how it goes, guys.